Hola, bienvenidos a todos. Welcome to En Casa con la Plaza, brought to you by La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, coming from our home directly to your home. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm Director of Marketing and Communications for La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. And today we have this evening or morning, depending on where you're at, we have a very special program documenting a desert angel with Vincent DeLuca, filmmaker, and Rafael Larraenza de Los Angeles del Desierto. La Plaza de Cultura y Artes brings these conversations, presentations, demonstrations, and performances from our home to yours. So welcome. If you join us on Zoom, please chat with us or click on the Q&A. If you're on Facebook Live, you can comment, wave, or ask a question. Please share on your Facebook, start a watch party, ask questions, make comments there. We welcome them. We make this interactive for you. And to make it even more interactive for you, I'm going to introduce you to, if you haven't met him already, John Echeveste, the CEO of La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Abelardo, and good to have you all with us here tonight on this warm, nice Wednesday evening here in Los Angeles, and wherever you may be. We get viewers now from across the country and even around the world. So that's great that we're developing a viewership, a global viewership, if you will. And we have a very special program tonight to talk about a very festering problem, a humanitarian problem that we have on the border. That is only getting worse as days go by, and that our elected officials seem unable to adequately address. And with us tonight is an old friend who I've known since January, I think, Vincent DeLuca, who is a filmmaker, primarily a commercial filmmaker, right, Vince?
Yeah, commercial, and I do actually do a lot of work with for nonprofit organizations as well.
That's great. Okay, good. And Vince is in the process of producing a very powerful and compelling documentary about a very powerful and compelling individual who has been working on the border to try to address some of the humanitarian issues that we're facing there. And it really tells the story of the power of one person and how one person has stepped forward to take action and to do something positive that is helping people. And he's been doing this for 30 years. For 30 years, he's been working on the border. We'll get into that a little bit, and we'll show you a trailer from the documentary that Vincent has produced. But I just wanted to start, Vincent, by welcoming you. Good to have you here. You're in San Diego area, I think?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, you're in Los Angeles. Okay,
yeah.
Great. Okay, good. Okay. Oh, I see you. There you are at the window. Yeah. So tell me first, how did you come across this story?
Yeah, I actually was working on a narrative script about immigration because immigration, I grew up in San Diego, and immigration was an issue that was something that has been on my heart for a long time, through experiences that I had working my way through college on painting crews and maintenance crews. I really became close with a lot of guys who had come over to seek better lives for their families, and had actually experienced a really heartbreaking moment when the father of one of my friends was picked up and sent back to Mexico, and then when he tried to cross back over, he got lost and ended up passing away. And through these experiences, I really wanted to figure out cinematically a way to get people to start thinking about these issues in a fashion that's different than what we've seen before, that was really based around empathy. And so I was working on a narrative script, but then found a newspaper article about Rafael from a Coachella Valley newspaper, and really just couldn't believe what I was reading. I mean, the man on the page was so empathetic and was sacrificing so much that I called the reporter who put me in touch with Rafael, and then I actually drove down to San Diego and met with him, and we started to develop a relationship, and then the film just emerged from that original friendship.
Wow, that's great. And you've been working on this project now, how long?
We've been working on it for a year and a half now.
A year and a half, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the way it works then is that you'll get a call from Rafael and then head on out to the border to catch up with him there?
That's right. We'll either, I'm making this with, we have a team, my producing partner, Ethan Downing, and then our sound partner, Dave Bennett. We basically will respond to the phone call and get down to Rafael, and then go out with him and his team when the team is available to go out on these missions of search and rescue missions. That's
great.
Yeah.
And it looks like Rafael has joined us. He's in Calexico, I believe, right now.
He was actually in Mexico today, delivering food to needy families, but he came back over, I think, to try to get a better Wi-Fi signal.
Okay. So we're trying to work through some technical difficulties. We hope to be able to connect with him soon. But to start the discussion, let's take a look at the trailer. It runs about 8 minutes, and that will really set the stage for what we're talking about here, and show you the kind of work that Rafael has been doing and how Vincent has so effectively captured that in this film.
Nosotros nos identificamos con cada persona que nos llama, con cada mamá, con cada papá, con cada persona, quien sea que nos llama, con esa desesperación, con esa angustia de pedirnos ayuda para buscar a sus familiares. No siento que es una persona extraña, ya siento que es una persona que es como de mi familia, aunque yo no las conozca, aunque nunca los he visto en mi vida. Eso automáticamente a mí se me clava hasta dentro del corazón. Yo pienso que cualquier persona, quien sea, tiene derecho de ser atendido o de ser ayudado en la forma que sea. Si yo lo puedo hacer, yo no voy a dudar en hacerlo. Dinero no tengo, nunca he tenido. O sea, lo que pude haber tenido, lo cambié porque no sentía yo que fuera lo más necesario, lo más indispensable. Pero la satisfacción, el gusto, el honor para poder salvar una vida, eso para mí es mucho más valioso. Tengo dolores, estoy muy lastimado, tengo mucha escasez de todo porque pues ya no trabajo como antes.
It is hell out here. Ground temperatures can hit 150 degrees. For most of the year, there is no water, little shade.
Además de los peligros propios del desierto, los miembros de la organización de Rafael Larraenza enfrentan otra grave amenaza, la posibilidad, Félix, de ser víctimas de delincuentes.
Entonces ahí fue cuando empezaron a golpear, al punto de que yo este ojo lo perdí y este oído casi me lo arrancaban.
No, they can't do it. They cannot do it.
Ahí está.
Donde recogen fondos para continuar su misión.
La verdad que es una impresionante lo que ustedes hacen.
Muchísimas gracias. Sí, pues.
Los Ángeles del Desierto, un grupo voluntario binacional de búsqueda, rescate, salvamento y ayuda humanitaria.
Acá está. Aquí está. ¡Allá vamos, ¡Ahí vamos! Armando. Sí. Leticia. Hugo. Que encuentro yo a alguien que fallece, que falleció, que encuentro a alguien así en mala situación, me siento muy triste. Siento que llegué tarde, siento que no hice lo suficiente y me siento culpable. Me imaginé los últimos momentos que ella estuvo viviendo, acordándose de su hijo, sobre todo, de sus familias, sus hermanos, sus papás, y viendo la tristeza del lugar, porque es un lugar, es una montaña muy hermosa, muy bonita, muy bonito todo, pero dependiendo de cómo la veas, o sea, en el momento que si nosotros vamos de paseo de turistas, se ve muy bonito, pero en el momento como iba ella, es algo tristísimo, porque venía con una desolación, ninguna esperanza de nada.
Bueno.
Sí, señorito. ¿Sí me escucha?
Ya no, sí.
Sí. Ok, quiero preguntarle, porque usted me había dicho ayer que se habían agarrado a él. Por favor, me repite otra vez cómo estuvo la última vez que hablé con él y qué fue lo que le dijo.
Aquí de la casa los llevaba en un carro cuando los agarraron, cuando estaba la aplicación ahí.
Ajá.
Y fue cuando todos corrieron, pero ahí sí los agarraron, pero a él no.
A ver, mira, aquí está mi compañero también para que él lo escuche.
Estaba en un cerro, no sabía dónde.
Nosotros vamos a ir a buscar, pero estés lista por el teléfono por si acaso le estamos preguntando algo, por favor, ¿sí?
Sí.
Sí, adelante.
Aquí es cruce porque es cruce de gente. Está perfecta para checar.
Cuando tengo mucho dolor, traigo en mi mochila inyecciones para el dolor y me pongo una inyección y ya puedo caminar un poco más. ¿Sí? Pero no me quiero dejar vencer, no quiero. ¿Sí? Tengo miedo. Tengo miedo de que no pueda seguir así. Y va a pasar, pero por lo pronto quiero seguir luchando.
You see how the head of the femur, you don't have that nice round smooth shape? You see how the shape isn't round and smooth anymore on this one and on this one? This one's a little bit round, but you lost the entire gap that's supposed to be there where the cartilage layer is. Really, the only thing we can do at this point is to do surgery.
No me imagino verme sin poder hacer nada. Cuando ves el dolor, el sufrimiento, y que hay algo que puedas hacer, me dan fuerzas para seguir adelante.
Sí, buenas noches, señor Rafael. Yo le estoy marcando porque necesito de su ayuda. Lo que pasa es que mi esposo intentó cruzar y al otro lado. ¿Me puede regresar la llamada al 770-429-4245? Sí, buenas noches, señor Rafael. Yo le estoy marcando porque necesito de seguridad. Me van a llamar.
Wow. So you get a good sense about what Rafael has been doing, how he's stepped in on a personal basis to address the border issue. So it's an amazing story, and you have to remember as you're looking at this that this is not a made-for-TV movie. This is real life. This is something that's happening every day, day after day, with untold hundreds of people who have perished trying to make this journey. So Vincent, we need to thank you for also stepping forward and capturing this story and sharing it with everybody. And before we move on to Rafael, I don't know if we've established connection yet. Can you hear us, Rafael? No, not yet.
I think he's
He
able
can
to
hear,
hear.
but we can't hear him. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, well, let's continue. Just to talk about the film first, Vince, where you are in the process and what the next steps are for completion.
Yeah, we're basically, I'd say, halfway through production. And right now is a really critical time for the film. Lots of people are crossing right now. You know, as you were mentioning, the crisis happening down in Mexico and Central America is critical, and people need to seek you know, refuge here. And so now is the time where they're crossing, and Rafael's extremely busy, and we're going to be going out as much as possible to film with him this summer. So we're really looking to shoot as much as we can in the coming months. Obviously, as safe as possible given the pandemic.
Right.
But you know, people are still crossing, and Rafael's going to be doing the work, and so we're hoping to be there with him to film that.
Great. And you know, we know that documentary films are not cheap to make. They don't have a lot of good funding sources as well. So how have you managed to put all this together?
Yeah, basically we've been doing it on our own. Our team of basically chips in what we have, and we've been stretching it as much as possible. But you know, in order to do the story justice, funding is going to be a big part of this, and so we're really looking for people who get the vision of what Rafael is doing and want to support the work, and get word out about what we're doing. So we're actively looking for funding right now.
Great, that's good to know. So we want everyone out there to know that you can help complete this project by making a donation. If you have any potential sponsors, both in the corporate or the foundation world, who may be interested in getting involved with the project, you know, please let Vincent know. This is his his email address here. He's working with SEMA Studios as a fiscal agent for the project. And once it's complete, then Vincent, what's the plan from there? Where will it be seen?
We're hoping to have a multi-pronged approach to distribution. Obviously, we'd love to do a festival run and get a distribution deal through one of the big, you know, streaming services. But we're also really interested in creating conversations about these issues. A lot of the members of our team have backgrounds in activist cinema, and you know, the guys that were working in third cinema in Argentina and South America in the 60s and 70s that really were promoting a lot of social change did a lot of inventive things in the way that they exhibited their films, where they would create conversations with the viewers so that the viewers were actively participating in the creation of the story. So we would like to do something similar, obviously adapted for modern times, where we're building groups of people who are discussing this. So we're going to have, you know, interactive websites along with traditional means of exhibition through, you know, hopefully a theatrical release in film festivals.
That's great. Well, let us, we'll be talking to you, of course, too, but of course we would be happy to screen it at La Plaza and generate discussion when you're ready for that, and when we're all back in action as well too. So
Great,
we'll be working with you on that. And just as a note too, we're also working with another organization, the Migrant Immigration Project, which has been doing a traveling exhibit. It's been going around to many locations throughout the country. And basically it's an interactive exhibit that encompasses painting a map of the border on a wall and having people complete toe tags of people who have died trying to make that cross.
Wow.
So we have that scheduled to come into La Plaza in November, hopefully, if we're, you know, open and able to get large numbers of people inside. So we'll see how that comes across. We also have, I think many of you have seen the 18-foot wooden coyote that we have in our walkway that was created by a Mexican artist who goes by the name of Libre. And Libre has created these coyotes throughout Mexico that guide migrants to their journey to the border. And on the coyote, they also have information on where they can get services. And what people have done throughout Mexico is leave food and clothing and water and other supplies at the coyotes so that the migrants can take them with them as they complete that journey. So it's good to see those kinds of positive things happening. Do we have connection with Rafael?
He can hear.
He can hear. Okay. Okay. Good. So, so can you relay questions to him, or?
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Let me try to get him on the phone.
Okay.
I may have Abelardo try Rafael again.
Okay.
And
that sounds
way,
good. Well,
yeah.
and you know his story pretty well, of course, having worked with him last year and a half. Tell us a little bit how he got involved with this and what compelled him to start.
Rafael's story is incredible, and let me say, you know, his organization and the work that he is doing, I know we'll probably have ample time to discuss this, but he really needs support. So if people are interested in volunteering or helping out in other ways, it's really needed, and it can literally save someone's life. So I know that we'll have time to talk about that. But basically, Rafael came over like the immigrants that he's rescuing, and ended up getting papers and getting a good job at John Deere, and worked his way up as a mechanic, and was living the American dream. He bought a house and had cars, and his family was really, you know, kind of like had it set. And then one day he saw a news report about an immigrant who had gone missing in the mountains in San Diego. What a lot of people don't know is that it actually snows in the mountains. It can get below freezing. And Rafael, as a way of, you know, doing a good deed, thought that he would buy supplies for the rescuers. So he bought those supplies and went out to the mountains, only to realize that no one was looking for the lost immigrant. And so Rafael went out on his own and found the man and saved his life that day. And that, I think, flipped a switch for him, where he realized that what he thought was the American dream maybe wasn't the American dream that he wanted to be living. And so he started to change his direction in life to giving back to people in really radical ways, which basically has resulted in him living right now in a bus on someone else's property and using all of the resources that he has to searching and rescuing for people. So that's really, for me, what drew me to this story is this, the radical nature of what he's doing, the disregard, and the caring that he has for other people. The first day that I ever met Rafael was I drove down to the bus, and he came out of the bus, and the way that he embraced me and looked at me was as if my own dad was doing that. There's just so much compassion in him for every person, and that comes through in the work that he does and in the film. This is really like the power of a really radical way of living.
So this really became a life passion for him. Did he phase into this on a full-time basis after a while?
He actually had a moment when a girl had gone missing during the work week, and he had to work. His bosses were kind of getting on to the fact that he was leaving work to go do search and rescue, and so they said, "Hey, if you leave, you won't have a job when you come back." And during that period, that work period, the girl ended up passing away, and Rafael found her body and realized, he has this amazing quote where he says, "That's when I realized that a life is only worth one day's wages." And that was when he just had to fully immerse himself in this work.
And he started out doing this all on his own. It was just an individual commitment that he made.
That's right. And family members would help out, and over time he's had a team surround him. It's really quite incredible. As if you go across the length of the border, it's almost as if it's a network of supporters who will donate. There's a restaurant in Gila Bend where the restaurant owner will always give free food. There's people who let him sleep, in their commercial property. People who are supporting what he's doing in any way that they can.
And this, of course, is not an inexpensive proposition that he's gotten himself into. How is he financing this? How is he getting support for that?
Well, the other big element in the Desert Angels, he now has a nonprofit, is that his wife Monica is like the home base for the operation, and she works 2 jobs up in San Jose, California, and basically diverts whatever money they have down to the border so that he can continue to do the work. What she also does is she'll be on Google Maps. She'll be communicating with the families down in Mexico or Central America and coordinating, trying to figure out exactly where the person went missing, and then relaying that information to Rafael so that he can go out and look in the right spot. So they have this really strong, beautiful love. It's totally a team. It's a team that between Rafael and Monica that make this possible, and it's just incredible what they're doing.
Great. And they have other people who are helping them now too?
Yeah.
Go out with them?
Yeah. Depending on where along the border, they have teams in Texas and Arizona and California that will come out and help.
Okay. Is there anyone else or any other groups doing this kind of work around the border? Do you know?
I think Rafael is the originator of the idea. My filmmaking partner Ethan says that he's the greatest humanitarian that you've never heard of. People who have worked with him have gone on to form their own groups and do that work, and Rafael looks at that as not as like a defection, but an expansion of the work. And so there's a real source of pride that people are learning the lesson and then carrying that out on their own.
Okay. Okay, Rafael, can you hear us now? Okay.
Rafael can't hear very well.
Okay.
This is Abelardo. But if you ask a question, I will translate it for him, and then I will interpret his answer. So
Okay.
we'll do the best we can.
Okay, good. Vincent, any idea how many people have perished trying to reach the border, cross the border?
It's really hard to say because the border is so vast. Really, the first time that we went out on a search and rescue, we didn't know what we were getting into. So I had this grand vision of making a really cinematic film with a big studio camera, and that day just about wiped us out. The ground is so treacherous, it's so vast, it's so easy to get lost. And so, we have numbers, and I think that really there's probably lots of bodies that aren't found, and the elements deteriorate the remains so quickly.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example, a few weeks ago, we were searching for someone out in Arizona. We were only about 200 yards off of the road, and we came across a random human skull. And so someone was that close to the road and had perished and hadn't been found. So I think the numbers are quite a bit higher than what is reported.
Yeah. So a question for either is, how do people know about Rafael? How do they know to reach him if someone is missing on the border? What is that process like?
Rafael, tenemos una pregunta. ¿Cómo la gente se puede comunicar con usted para preguntar de personas que están cruzando la frontera? Hola, Rafael. Sí, por favor, si nos puedes comentar cómo la gente se comunica con usted para decirle o para que hay gente que conocen a alguien que está cruzando la frontera pero que está perdido.
Ok, por medio de mi web, por medio de mi teléfono, por medio del correo electrónico, las personas se comunican conmigo, los familiares de las personas que están perdidas.
Okay. Yes, through his website, and we will post that online, or through email or through his phone number. People communicate with him to let him know if there's somebody, a relative or a friend who has crossed the border that hasn't been in communication with them. Okay. Aquí otra pregunta, Rafael. ¿Cómo sientes el miedo? ¿Qué te da miedo? ¿Y cuándo te da miedo cuando estás ahí en la frontera?
No. El miedo me estaba dando cuando estaba yo muy lastimado.
Okay. The question is, do you experience fear? What scares you? And what do you do when the fear strikes you? And he says that the fear was with him when he was hurting himself. Cuando estabas herido de la situación de las personas que están cruzando?
Sí, cuando estaba yo con dolor y pensaba que ya no iba a poder seguir haciendo mi trabajo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as you saw in the trailer for the documentary, there was that period of time when he was ill himself, and that's when he was most fearful that he was not going to be able to assist and complete his mission of helping people that are crossing the border.
Okay. So how is your health now, Rafael? Did you have the surgery?
Sí, la pregunta es ¿cómo está tu salud ahorita? ¿Estás, ya completaste la cirugía?
Oh, ya estoy completamente, ya me siento mucho mejor. Ya puedo caminar, ya no tengo ese dolor que tenía yo antes tan fuerte.
Okay, he says that he's completely healed, that he doesn't feel any pain, and that he's able to complete his mission of going out there and helping to find the people. A question from Josué Joshua Veteto. Rafael, where do you find your strength? ¿De dónde encuentras su poder para hacer lo que haces?
Bueno, tengo el apoyo muy grande de mi esposa, de mis hijas, sí, mi esposa Mónica y mis hijas me apoyan mucho y eso me da mucho valor. Mientras ellas estén bien, yo siento que tengo yo mucha fortaleza.
See, it's through the strength that he finds from his wife, Monica, and from his daughter that give him the valor and the strength to carry on to do what he needs to do.
That's great. Good.
Aquí,
And-
una pregunta de Berta Miranda, a question. My sister never found her husband who disappeared in the desert. When you find remains, skeletal, where can she inquire if perhaps her husband might be one of those found? This has been over 10 years. Que la hermana de Berta Miranda desapareció en el desierto casi hace más de 10 años. Pero ¿cómo puede saber del esqueleto o cómo puede saber uno si encontraron el cuerpo o algo así?
Bueno, nosotros nos ponemos en contacto con las oficinas del médico forense para poder saber si es que se ha recuperado alguna persona, algunos restos en designada área. Por ejemplo, si nos dicen en qué área es en donde se quedó, nosotros nos dirigimos a este médico forense de la área y de ahí nosotros podemos darnos idea si es que pertenece a los restos a la persona que nosotros estamos buscando.
Okay. Yeah, what they do is they once they know what area, geographic area they disappeared, or more or less, they contact the forensics department of the specific area to find out if there had been remains, and that's how they complete their investigation.
Okay, good. And how do they work with Border Patrol and other law enforcement agencies on both sides of the border?
Sí, la pregunta es ¿cómo trabajas juntos con la migra, con el departamento de la frontera y en asistiendo a gente que está perdida?
Bueno, ahorita ya ha cambiado la situación. Al principio, cuando empecé yo hace aproximadamente 20 años, 24 años empecé yo, pero aproximadamente los primeros 5 años fueron muy difíciles porque tuve que confrontarme con la patrulla fronteriza en el departamento de Sheriff, Homeland Security aquí en Estados Unidos. Del lado de mexicano también estuvimos también en conflictos con la policía ministerial, la policía judicial, soldados, ejército, migración del grupo Beta. No sabían ellos lo que nosotros hacíamos y teníamos muchísimos conflictos con ellos. Poco a poco se fue dando cuenta de lo que nosotros estábamos haciendo con pruebas, ¿verdad? Porque nunca nos dieron permiso, sino que nosotros siempre, pues cuando les avisábamos es porque ya habíamos hecho algún rescate, algún descubrimiento de algunos restos, y de esa forma fue que ellos se fueron dando cuenta de que nosotros trabajábamos en forma de ayudar a recuperar.
Okay, déjame traducir, por favor. Yes, at first they had, the first 5 years, more or less, they had difficulties with the Border Patrol, with the local sheriffs, with the local, on the side of the United States, the different police agencies, and even on the other side of the border with the federales, with the grupo, with Zeta, until they were able to prove that they were actually helping people and rescuing people, that things did work out where they were more cooperative. Y durante estos días, during these times, ¿cómo va la cosa, por favor?
Trabajábamos en secreto, trabajábamos escondidas sin que nadie nos viera, poniendo agua en el desierto y patrullando por nosotros mismos todas las áreas que nosotros nos estábamos dando cuenta que la gente estaba sufriendo. Empezando desde California, nos costó muchísimo trabajo conquistar todo lo que es el terreno de Baja California, de lo que es el estado de California. Después brincamos al estado de Arizona, después Nuevo México y ahora hasta Texas, en ambos lados de la frontera, tanto del lado mexicano como del lado americano.
Okay, they started off doing what the rescues in in California. Then they slowly were able to go into Arizona and Nuevo Mexico también, ¿verdad? New Mexico, all the way. Now they do their work in Texas. Pero ahorita, ¿cómo es la situación con los oficiales?
Ahorita ya en este tiempo ya no tenemos problema, ya estamos reconocidos que nosotros hacemos este trabajo y tenemos el apoyo de cuando nosotros lo necesitamos. Tenemos la libertad también para podernos mover, pero después de tantísimo trabajo, de tantísimo sacrificio, tuvimos arrestos, tuvimos golpes, tuvimos humillaciones, tuvimos muchísimas diferencias con ellos, pero poco a poco las hemos ido superando.
Okay, at first they had a lot of problems with the officials on both sides of the border until they were able to prove themselves. Beatings, arrests, a lot of hassles, but now they have cooperation. Now that they've proven themselves, they have cooperation from officials from both sides of the border to complete their mission.
Okay. But no official support from the government on either side.
Y apoyo, tienen apoyo oficial de parte de pues dinero o apoyo de ese tipo del gobierno.
No, definitivamente no tenemos apoyo de ninguna forma, en ningún sentido. Y acerca de los carteles, pues también hemos sido agredidos por personas que no tienen consideración con nuestros hermanos. En cuanto nosotros entramos a terrenos en donde están controlados por carteles, inclusive aquí en Estados Unidos, también hemos tenido agresiones y hemos tenido pues muchísimas dificultades con ellos, ¿verdad? Pero nosotros no hemos dejado de hacer nuestro trabajo.
Yeah, they have had, there is no official support for them monetary wise. They have had difficulty with the cartels there, but that doesn't stop them from doing their job. But hay una manera que la gente le puede asistir con recursos.
Sí, definitivamente sí tenemos en nuestra web, tenemos un botón de PayPal y también pues si nos quieren llamar y también tenemos un número de cuenta en el banco de Wells Fargo en donde nos pueden hacer algún depósito. Desafortunadamente ahorita ya tenemos más del año que no tenemos ayuda debido pues, aparte de la pandemia, de parte también de que pues hemos estado muy extendidos todo a lo largo y ancho de las fronteras.
Y tienen una campaña de GoFundMe también, ¿verdad?
Sí, tenemos una campaña de
GoFundMe. Ahorita voy a compartir la información en la pantalla. Yeah, so they haven't had any kind of assistance, and right now because of the pandemic, donations are low, but there's a way that people, the public could assist. They have a GoFundMe page, and you'll see it on the screen there, GoFundMe.com/F/Los-Angeles-del-Desierto, and we will post that on the chat and also post it on Facebook.
Great, that's good. Okay. Do you know, Vince or Rafael, how many people they have rescued through the years?
¿Tiene idea de cuántas personas has rescatado durante en estos años?
No, eso es imposible decirlo porque nosotros, aparte de que hacemos rescates o búsquedas físicamente, también, por ejemplo, en estos tiempos de verano, ponemos mucha agua en el desierto, en las zonas donde nuestras gentes pasan. Y muchas veces colocamos alrededor de 6,000 galones de agua en un mes en esas zonas en donde la gente ha muerto muchas veces de hambre y de sed. Y a la siguiente semana que vamos ya no encontramos nada de agua, lo que quiere decir que hay muchísimas gentes que se salvaron y que lograron sobrevivir de los calores del desierto.
Ok, gracias. ¿Y cuántos galones, por favor?
Alrededor de 6,000 galones de agua al mes durante tiempos de verano.
Okay, so they don't have an accurate number of the people that they have rescued, I mean, that they have in any way supported or rescued or assisted, but they do put out upwards of 1,000 gallons of water in different points throughout the desert. And then when they return, they see that they're all empty. So they could imagine how many people actually are assisted by having water out there for them.
Okay.
Muchas veces nosotros no nos damos cuenta de todas las personas que sobreviven, ¿verdad? Aparte de eso, muchas ocasiones vamos a buscar a alguna persona y encontramos a otra, ¿verdad? Va dependiendo también del tiempo y del lugar en donde estemos.
Okay, so they have no idea how many people they've assisted. Sometimes because they are contacted directly by somebody to actually go look for somebody who's out there lost, they may or may not find that person, but they do find somebody else who is in need of assistance, and so they're able to help them to survive.
Aparte de eso, nuestro servicio no nada más es en el desierto, en las montañas, a ayudar a nuestros inmigrantes. Por ejemplo, ahorita acabo de regresar de una misión que nosotros mismos nos hemos encomendado en este tiempo de pandemia, de llevar alimentación a las personas que están enfermas, que no tienen de ninguna forma ninguna ayuda, y nos hemos encontrado con gentes que están de alguna forma impedidas, con incapacidades, por ejemplo, personas que han sido amputadas de sus pies, personas que no tienen sillas de ruedas, que no tienen forma de cómo caminar. Lo que hice fue aprender a hacer prótesis de pies para poder ayudar a todas las personas haciéndole sus pies para que puedan otra vez caminar, ¿verdad?
Okay, gracias. During their work isn't just in the desert or in the surrounding mountains, especially during this time of pandemic. They also do what they can to help out people who are in need of assistance in their homes or wherever they're staying, food, also medical needs, prosthetics. They do what they can to help out people that they've identified in their everyday needs, especially during these critical times.
Let me jump in real fast and just add something to what Rafael is saying. He's being very humble. So he has this mechanical background from working at John Deere all of those years. He was in Tijuana and saw a woman who had lost a leg because she was a diabetic. And so his brain started to turn, and he actually went out and built a prosthetic leg for her over the course of like 4 or 5 days. And he actually sent me the video of it when he had done it, and she was able to walk. So it's just seeing a need and putting all of your efforts and energies into finding a solution. It's really incredible.
Is he working at all too with the migrant camps now in Tijuana and other border cities?
Yep. Do you want to ask him?
Hello. Yes, I was on mute. I'm sorry. Yeah, está trabajando con los campamentos de migrantes en el lado mexicano.
No propiamente. Los campamentos donde hay mucha gente, ellos tienen personas que se dedican a ayudar. Yo propiamente me dedico a ayudar a las personas más alejadas, más defensas, en donde no tienen en ningún momento nadie que las apoye. En este caso, ayer en la noche fui a visitar a una niña de 1 año y medio que le dieron ataques epilépticos, y no tenía ella de ninguna forma quien apoyar a esas personas. Entonces fui a apoyarlos, les fui a dar tratamiento de que el médico les estaba ordenando, pero no tenían ninguna persona que le hiciera tratamiento. Una persona que tiene cáncer y que tiene que estar suministrando suero que viene siendo soluciones intravenosas, y no tenía quien lo hiciera, también lo fui a hacer. O sea, nosotros hacemos el trabajo que ahorita los hospitales no pueden hacer, en dando atención a las personas, sobre todo en las zonas más aisladas, como son el este de Tijuana, el oeste de Tijuana también, y de Tecate. Okay. Esas zonas están completamente marginadas, en donde la gente necesita el apoyo 100%, más sin embargo no lo tienen.
Okay.
Y es lo que estamos haciendo
Okay.
nosotros.
Yeah, they work on this side of the border. There are other organizations and individuals that are helping people on the Mexican side of the border, but their assistance goes beyond providing assistance to those that are trying to cross the border, but people that are here, families, individuals, including a 1.5-year-old child with encephalitis. They were not able to find medical care on their own, and through the Desert Angels, they were able to give that child assistance. So that's what they're concentrating on now, especially because of the pandemic and the lack of medical care for many people that need that assistance.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end now, and just looking at the comments, people, of course, want to know what they can do to help. We talked about the donations, but are there other ways that people can help the effort too?
Sí, ya tenemos que terminar, pero mucha gente está preguntando cómo pueden asistir en su misión, más que con fondos. ¿Qué más pueden hacer?
Bueno, aparte de eso necesitamos mucho ayuda, aparte de la ayuda económica, necesitamos ayuda material. Por ejemplo, necesitamos comida, necesitamos artículos médicos, necesitamos zapatos, cualquier artículos de higiene personal, todo lo que sea para una persona pueda sobrevivir, lo necesitamos urgentemente.
Okay, they're in need, besides monetary donations, they're in need of food. They're in need of other material, shoes, for instance, clothing, anything that would be of need by the people who need the assistance they would be willing to take. Y otra vez se pueden comunicar con usted vía el web, por también su teléfono. ¿Quieres darle a la gente su número de teléfono?
Claro que sí. Mi número de teléfono será 619-773-3688.
Okay.
Sí, y mi correo electrónico es rafaelangelesdeldesierto@yahoo.com.
Oh.
Sí, y nuestro web es www.losangelesdeldesierto.org.
Okay. Yes, people can't communicate to him directly with assistance. And we will post it here on our chat on Zoom and also on our Facebook comments. His direct telephone number, his email address, and the website for Los Angeles del Desierto.
Okay, good. And Abelardo, can we just show again Vince's contact information too?
Okay, vamos a poner aquí para información del documental. Here's the information to donate for the completion of the documentary. Contact Vincent at bigpulpfilm.com. Their fiscal sponsor is SEMA Studio.
Just one correction on that. It's actually Big Pup with no L, P-U-P.
Our mistake.
No, I could have caught that sooner too.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put up, let me stop this share, and I'm going to put up for donations to Angeles del Desierto. Here's the information. For gofundme.com/F/Los-Angeles-del Desierto. And we'll also, of course, post this on our Facebook and on our chat on Zoom.
Great. Good. Thank you. Well, good. That's the story. That's what's happening. And we want to thank both Vincent for bringing this story to us, for putting it together in such a compelling way. And of course, to Rafael for his, major humanitarian commitment in doing this. And again, shows the real power of one person, just to take charge and not wait for somebody to tell them what to do, not look for government support or other support, but just to do it, just to jump in and get it done.
Sí, le queremos dar gracias a los dos, a Vincent por el trabajo con el documental, pero especialmente a Rafael por todo lo que haces. Sin ayuda del gobierno o de otras organizaciones no lucrativas, que haces, todo lo que haces de parte de su corazón, con todo su esfuerzo. Muchas gracias a usted y le agradecemos todo lo que haces.
Muchísimas gracias a ustedes.
Good.
Thank you
Any
very
final words, Vincent?
I would just say thank you both for having us on tonight and for being a platform that's telling really important stories. And you know, we are looking for someone to come on as an executive producer to help us with that fundraising push. But also, if there's members in the community who want to join or institutions that want to partner with us, we'd love to have that conversation and see where that can go. So thank you. Thank you for having us.
Great, thank you. And Rafael, anything?
Algo, palabras final, por favor, Rafael.
Sí, muchísimas gracias por tomarse el tiempo de estar y de fijarse sobre todo en la labor que nosotros hacemos. Y pues encantado de conocerlos, aunque sea por lo lejos, pero muchísimas gracias. Les agradezco infinitamente el que se acerquen a nosotros.
Well, thank you very much for bringing us on and exposing our efforts to the public, and also for helping us out. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Okay, gracias,
Good.
Rafael. Hasta luego.
And I would just encourage everybody who's watching to really dig deep and support both of the organizations. You know, when you help Vincent too, you're helping get the story out. And when we get the story out, that is going to help support Rafael too in what he's doing and bring more attention and more funding and support to carry out his work. And I think his new surgery is going to keep him going for another 60 years or 30 years. So that'll be good. Right? Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you both. Thank you, Abelardo.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me finish up here, John. Thank you so much, Vincent. Thank you so much, John. Just a few words here while I look for my script. Okay, here goes. Thank you to all of you who attended tonight's En Casa con la Plaza. This is our 42nd session, 43rd. Who knows? I think I've lost count. But we keep going, and we're going to continue going. Thanks to people like you who have participated, but also our sponsors, SoCal Gas, and additional funding by the California Humanities and the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the Coronavirus Act, Relief and Economic Security CARES Act. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed En Casa con la Plaza sessions, please join us as members. There's a lot of asking going on, but these are all things that you should consider giving to the documentary, of course, the Los Angeles del Desierto, but also if you have a couple bucks to spare, help us out as well. Membership keeps us going, along with the sponsorships by our good friends. You can catch, if you came in late, or if you want to re-watch this, you could go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page. We archive all of our sessions, and they're both at La Plaza LA. Also, our website is www.lapca.org or laplazala.org. You could catch us on either one. Join our newsletter. That's where you'll find out what the upcoming programs, which coincidentally start this Friday once more with West Coast Chicano Soul with Frankie Firme, one of the first Chicano Latino internet DJs. We'll be talking about West Coast Chicano oldies. We have our cooking demonstrations, as John described, coming up. Pork empanada cooking demonstration with Andrea Borgen Abdallah of Barcito, a downtown LA favorite spot. And then
one of my favorites.
One of John's favorites. And then on Tuesday, Mexican-American history maker Ana Valdez, executive president, Latino Donor Collaborative. And then on Wednesday, we have 4 sessions next week. But the third one is on Wednesday, where we recap our current exhibition that's on display, which nobody's able to watch, but we'll have a panel talking about Afro-Latinidad, Mi Casa, My City, a groundbreaking exhibition on the Afro-Latino community here in Los Angeles. So with that, muchas gracias otra vez a todos que participaron hoy día. Thank you so much for all of you who participated today. Your comments, your questions. We're making it happen here. So until the next time, nos vemos. Buenas noches a todos.
Thanks, Vince. Thanks, Rafa.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay.